Guys, good morning. Let me just take a quick recap of what has been completed so far. All right. So we have studied we started with the concepts of profiles. So I would once again go to manage users and then profiles. And we were being understanding what are the different options available with profile. So there's a custom profile that we have created called 208 standard user. And we have understood how we can customize, how we can give the permission and remove the permission, give the accessibility or remove the accessibility related to the applications, how we can customize that we have seen. We also have understood about what are the different tab settings, typically what does it means by, and what is the difference between default off and tab hidden. We also have understood settings related to the custom object and the standard objects, right? So we do have enabled few of the options and we have disabled few more options. So this is how we have understood how we can control the accessibility over the object level as well. This is something called as the object level security. Now, yeah, of course, before I would start this, there are, please write it down. There are 5 different levels of securities in Salesforce. All right. There are 5 different levels of security. Please write it down. There are 5 different levels of securities in Salesforce. At the topmost, there is something called as organizational level security. Organizational level security. At the top, this is organization level security. What are the components of organization level security? I would be explaining you, in during the course of our discussion, I would be telling you whatever you are learning right now is something called, by this you can plan for, or few of the things over here is from the organization level security. The second level of security is the application level of security, is the application level security. The third level of security is something called as object level security. Object level security. The fourth one is I think record level security. And then the final one is field level security. Yes, field level security. Now, we can assume one more layer over here, something called as user level security. User level security. Or we can include this inside the organization as well. Or else what you can say is there are 6 different levels: organization, user level, application level, object level, record level, and field level security. So these are 5 to 6 different levels of securities in Salesforce. Please write it down. Please draw a tree sort of a structure for this. Now, the profiles, what we are learning right now, the profiles, they mostly work in application and object level security. They mostly work over here, profiles. But few of the things are there that even works at user level. So we're going to discuss what are those. All right. So see, you have studied how we can enable and disable the applications, right? So that obviously goes to the application level security. Tab settings, that goes to object level security, and custom object and standard object permissions, these goes to the object level security. Then there are few of the things which are there inside general user and the administrative permissions, general users and administrative permissions. So some of the components from here that even goes at user level. So that is why I was trying to say you that profile can be used in different levels. It can be used in application level security. It can also be used in the object level security. It can also be used, a few of the things we can be used inside the user level security as well. But anyways, chalo, let's move further with this. So far we have studied this much, and now let me try to show you a few more things. Let me talk about few more things about profile, and then we're going to see something else. Now see, there is something called as session settings. All right. Now this session settings, these it comes over the organization level security. Now this would typically would define uh, when uh, when the system is going to be get inactive, or rather when your session is going to be get expired. All right. So what you can do is, like, there are different options over here. So what does it means by session got expired? See, whenever we make a login, we do enter our credentials, we do enter our username and passwords. So if you would not use this window for next 2 hours, and rather this is going to be in the idle state for next 2 hours. So after 2 hours, if somebody would try to make a login, or I would try to make a login, I'll have to log in myself once again. So that is something called a session timeouts. Now we can increase this, we can increase this for maybe 8 hours or 12 hours, whatever, whatever you would say. By default, it's always 2 hours. So let me tell you one more thing over here. Now, this was about like how this was about session activity, like how much time the session should remain active, right? That is what. Now, we all know that I'm not sure whether you experienced this or not, but after 3 months, your organization would ask you to set up a new password. Why? Because the user password expired. There is a setting over here that for the next 90 days, the password is going to be valid. And after every 90 days, it's almost 3 months. After every 3 months, you'll have to set up a new password. So this is again is in your hand for this particular user who's having this profile. You can control, like, the password should expire within 30 days, 60, 90, 180, over an year, or whatever the password he has set. It should never expire. He should continue with the same. So it's up to you. Then when somebody would try to enter a new password, how many the password should not be same as the previous and the old password what he already has used. So how many of them? So it's up to over here. No password to remember that he can even continue with the same password, or the last password, or the last two, or the last three, or the last four, even up to last 24 passwords, right? So this is the level of security you can decide. Up to what level the previous passwords cannot be used. What is going to be the maximum length of the password? That's up to you. Complexity, it must have one numeric and one alpha, or maybe one alphanumeric, one alphabet and a numeric. Must have alphanumeric along with numbers, alphabets, and the special characters. So lowercase, uppercase. So that is up to you how much complicated you wanted this passwords to be, right? And this is the whole setting about that session settings and the passwords and everything. So that is also is a part of profile. Now I'll take you a little, let me cancel this and let me show you a few more things which are actually not available over here, but at this particular homepage. So see, most of the things we have covered inside, like if you would edit that, the most of the important permissions are available on the edit layout. But there are a few of the things, that are available onto this homepage of profiles as well. Typically with, let me show you, field level security that I was trying to say. See, a field level security is something which is not inside this page, but it's actually the outside. I mean, it's all onto the home page of layout. So what does the field level security would actually means? Now, see, I have given this access, like for example, if I would go to the users, right? If I would go to the users, now this development user, if I would make a login to his account, and if I would go to, for example, I have go to the candidate object. Now inside in the candidate object, these all are the fields. These all are the fields that are available to him. Now see, we have decided that he is going to have an access on the candidate, right? He's going to have the access, or maybe you can try the same with the position. See, he's going to have the access on the position, right? At the profile level, we have decided that this user development, or maybe the person who is holding this profile 208 standard, whatever, so he could access these objects. He could access the positions and the hiring man. What we have controlled, one second. What we have controlled was CRUD permission, CRUD. What is that CRUD? Create, read, update, and edit, whatever. All right, so these were the permissions what we have controlled. But if he's having the access on authors, he can access all the fields of authors, right? He's having the permission on the book, he can access all the fields of the books, right? He can access all the books, all the fields of the book. Similarly with every object. Now, for example, if I would go with this, any one of them, for example, a position or maybe a candidate. Now, whatever the permission he's having create permission, read permission, edit permission, view all, modify all, whatever. But he could have, he's having the access on all of the fields of this object, all of the fields. Now, sometimes it might occurs, sometime it might occurs a situation where we should give the access to the object. We should give the access to the object, but we should not give the access to all of the fields of the object. For example, I wanted, let's say, for this user, I don't wanted him to have an access maybe with these three fields, just for the understanding of, just for the sake of an example. For an instance, I wanted like, this user development, he shouldn't have access to these three fields, although he should have an access on the position. But my intention is like, he shouldn't have the access on status, contact number, and location. Is it possible? Is it, see, up to profile level, what we have seen, up to profile level, what we have seen, I can make this object enabled to him, or I can make this object totally disabled to him. Either he could access the position, or he could not have access. He could have the access on the position object, he could not have. If he doesn't have the access, he cannot access any fields, obviously, because the object itself is not visible to him. I can control that at the profile level. Now that is something called the object level security. You can decide whether this object should be accessible to this user or not. But now let's go a little bit deep into this. Object should be visible. The user development, he should have the access to this object. But I wanted that there are few of the fields inside the position object. There are few of the fields like this. He shouldn't have the access, and this should be hidden from him. Is it possible? Yes, of course it is possible. But for that, you have to migrate yourself to something else called as field level security. For this, you actually would require to migrate from here to field level security. That is something which is beyond the profiles, right? So let's now understand how we can control over this as well, right? So I would go to, first of all, that object. I'll first of all go to that object. Just give me a moment, guys. 1 second. Yes. So now let's understand something which is beyond the profile. All right. What is that? Field level security. So in the profile level, I have decided, let me go back to show you this. I decided that the one who is holding this profile should have the access to the object called position. And I have given him all type of permissions, right? All CRUD permissions, CRUD, create, read, update, and delete. All right. So this would actually means this user is now enabled to access this object. And when he is accessing the object, he can access every field. But let's say there are few fields which I typically want he shouldn't have the access. What are those? Let me go back to the what was position or candidate, what it was. All right, so these three are the fields: status, contact, and location. I don't want him to access all this field. So what I'm going to do, I would go to something called as field level security. All right. and then scroll it down till the time you would find that object. So because it's a custom object, they are going to be listed out at the end of list. So these are the custom object, and we are talking about position, right? We are talking about position. So I would go to the position and I'll click on this view just to view how many things are available to him. So you can see that these all are the fields, right? These all are the fields. They are being accessible to him. So I just go back and edit it. Now, position status, I go to that field. Position status, I remove this. Contact number, I'll go with the contact number, I'll remove this. Location name, location name, I'll go with this and I'll remove this. Once you remove all those, right, there are two types of read and edit. You can save this. You can save this now. Now let's try to make a login into that user's account. So I make a login to development user. And when I refresh this, I'm now into the login of development, and you can see object is accessible. Those fields are not. So this is something called as a field level security. This is something called as a field level security. So you can merely control this as well. You can merely control this as well. Okay, what are those fields that are going to be get accessible? What are those fields that are going to be get accessible? If you have given the permission, related to, like, the person could access an object. So if he can access the object, that doesn't mean every field is going to be accessible to him. We can even merely control that. Okay, what are going to be those fields that he should access, and we can definitely hide few of the fields from here as well. So that was the thing. That was the thing called as field level security. Now I had one discussion with you guys about, is it possible to perform the mass updates? Let me try to show you this as well. Yes, of course we can do that. But whenever we are doing a mass update, there are only few of the objects on which you can do this. Let me try to go with that. I would first of all would like to, list out all those objects on which we could perform the mass update operation. For every custom object is available, but there are only few standard objects like account. Yeah, these are some of like account, contact, leads, and opportunities. So there are only few standard object on which you can perform this operation. But for every custom object, this is available, right? So for every custom object, you can build up that kind of functionality. Now let me try to show you something. See, if you go with this account, for example, and you go with like all accounts, all right? So it is a list of all accounts, or maybe maybe like banking accounts or something. So see, if I would make a click onto this, now let's say these are few of the accounts where I wanted to update maybe I wanted to update maybe like account site. All right, maybe account site. And if I would be doing it like this, account site, maybe Nagpur, and I save this record, and I'll go with this, I'll make it Nagpur, and I would save this record. So let's consider there are like thousands of the records over here. There are thousands of the records over here. So I wanted that all of them should have the same value. Now, one way to do this is like, you can simply take an advantage of data loader, which you are going to study. With the Salesforce inspector also, I'll make you available. So there are few ways, of course, there are few ways in the Salesforce by which you can make this update. I'm going to show you one another way, not many people knows this. There are only there might be only few persons, those who know this. So I'll make you aware of a technique by which you can, you can have a button. I'm a little unsure about whether it's going to be visible in the classic environment or not. Otherwise, in the Lightning, it shows. I mean, in the Lightning, I'm sure because I have used it so many times. So what I'm going to do would be, let me first of all try to make this. example. I'll go with I'll go with let me first of all open any record from here. I'm little unsure about like how it works in the classic. Let me try to first of all edit the layout from here. In the edit layout, when you go to quick actions, mobile and lightning actions, otherwise I'm going to show you from the lightnings. I don't think it's actually available on this layout. Let me take you to the lightning experience. Maybe from there I could show you that. Even I have also recently learned this. I was doing something on the Einstein platform, Einstein Analytics. There I explored that you can merely perform a mass update as well. So let me just try to find it out over there. If I would go to the setup and if I would go to the object manager, then I'll try to find out the account. Let's say in the account, if I'd go with button links and actions, and I'll create a new action. So I'm not sure how do we see this into classic, but in the lightning, as you can see, we have an option called button links and action, and I'm just introducing a new action button. I'm introducing this new action button to update the record. To update the record, because with this, I wanted to update previous record. Let me mass update. Let me go with this name. I can change the icon as well if you want. Otherwise, I can go with same icon. Update the record, send log, custom. See, these are the actions that you can introduce with some sort of button. I'll go with update a record. And the standard label would be log a call, new record, update the record, quick, social escalate offer, add member reply. It would be update record. It would be an update record. Let me now save this. All right, so I just have created one button and so these are the, I mean, this is like, after pressing that button, how many fields you will going to see. So this is what that layout actually is. If you wanted to add few more fields, you can definitely add from here. Like, for example, if I would require to add the rating as well. So I just add the rating. And once it has been done, let me save this. Let me now save this. And this is right now present because we don't have any separate any additional layouts, so it's actually present on the default. But otherwise, if you have multiple layouts, like in our case, I'm having more than 6 layouts, so it would ask me one option over here ki this button what you are introducing, you wanted to land this button on which layout. But in our case, we don't have any separate layout, so you can see there's nothing like that. Now let me take you to the accounts. So I don't see accounts over here. Let me add that first of all. Or I'll take you first of all to the sales. Let me select that. Sorry, I'm into the wrong application. Let me take you to the sales. So we have accounts over here. Let me now click onto the accounts and let's try to open any of them. Right. Now, or rather, if I would go to the list of, I should have seen this over here. Give me a moment, guys. I think I forgot something. I just don't remember what I have. Uh, just give me a moment, guys. I forgot how I have enabled all those things. Just give me a moment. Let me try to show it from here. This is Einstein analytics, by the way. I mean, for learning Einstein analytics, you should have to create a separate account. It doesn't works in the developer edition. For developer edition, you will not finding any options. So I have introduced one button, mass update. Yes, this was the button. Account name. What was the formula that I have taken that time? Account.name, exactly. So I have introduced one button called mass update. This one, update account. And let me just try to see one thing that account.name. All right. Let's see now whether it's being enabled or not. I'll just go back and refresh this once again. Again, not. Okay. What is the difference between these two? Names, account, description. Let me just try to find it out. What is that part which I'm missing? Action type, update a record. Action type is also update a record. Action type is same here as well. What is that I'm missing? Just let me come to the page layout. Count layout. What is that I'm missing? There's something which I'm missing. Let me record pages. Do I have to bring it over here? No. Compact layout. No. Layout editor. Hmm. I'm definitely missing something. That is the reason we are not seeing this over here. Ideally, it should come. Let me try with this. Try and go with the sales. See this option, Analytics Studio. This option Analytics Studio, this only appears with an org which is enabled with Einstein Analytics. So that is the indication that you are using Einstein Analytics. You would not going to find it over here. For learning Einstein Analytics, we should have to set up a separate account. Now, if I would go over here, where did I have find that option? Let me let me do a little research onto this. I merely have forgot how I make that enable and how it was coming. I think I just have forgot that. Okay, just give me some time. I'll make my research and then I'll come with the same. Anyways, मैं बताता हूँ आपको, थोड़ा सा मुझे और वक्त लगेगा इसके लिए, बिकॉज मुझे याद नहीं आ रहा कि मैंने कैसे लाया था उसको. चलो, it's almost 12. Yeah, any questions? Just me give you this command. Yeah, you can now unmute yourself. Any questions? Any questions, guys? All right then.